Hey guys, today's video is the number one thing that you can't do with a BPD girlfriend or a narcissistic girlfriend because they both have very similar behavioral patterns. Um, BPD girls, especially the impulsive type, they call it impulsive borderline. They do things without even giving regard to the consequences, without thinking about the future. Those impulsive borderlines are the today women. They're thinking about today. They're not thinking about down the road. They're not thinking about a year from now. They're not thinking about 2 years from now. These are the women that might just jump on a bus and go East Coast to West Coast. Tonight they say, I want to go to California. Tomorrow they're on a bus to California. Those are the impulsive borderlines. They just do stuff on a whim. Impulsive borderlines will literally just wake up, get it in their head they don't like you anymore, because borderline people go through love-hate cycles. It's called a love-hate cycle. They do this with friends, they do this with family, and they mostly do it with romantic partners. So when you first meet this narcissistic woman, borderline woman, because like I said, the behavior patterns are similar. Both narcissistic women and borderline women, when they first meet you, they're going to love bomb you. So they're going to come in, love bomb you, act like everything's great. Perfect example, one of my ex-girlfriends, when she love bombed me, hadn't seen her for 2 years. She starts liking all my Facebook posts. She never does this. This is a narcissistic borderline girl that was my ex-girlfriend. She was sleeping in her car, homeless. That's why she started liking all my Facebook posts. Come over and gave me a hug. This is all an example of love bombing. They do it to access your resources. They do it to pull the wool over your eyes. BPD girls do it without realizing it. BPD is a mental illness. Narcissism is a mental illness. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental illness. So no, we won't lash out at these women. We won't get mad at them per se because it's a mental illness. But what you especially younger men, age 18 to 25, you need to understand if your girlfriend's broken up with you and she's BPD or she's narcissistic. A lot of times they do these behaviors without even being aware of it. A BPD girl will just one day wake up, be in a psychosis, because sometimes BPD girls can go into psychosis. They get it in their mind that they're mad at you about something. Next thing you know, they're fucking breaking up with you. Maybe you have a foot odor problem, and that can be it for a narcissistic woman. She don't want to date a guy with a foot odor problem, so she's just gonna break up with you. Where other women might say, oh, honey, let's get you some new socks, or let's wash your socks more, wash your feet more, try to be like, problem solving with a problem like that. Whereas a narcissistic woman will just break up with you for it because she's already got 20 other boyfriends. She doesn't need to put up with your foot odor problem. That's kind of a joke, but it's kind of the truth too. It's kind of a pretty good example. Like narcissistic women won't put up with you if you're sick. If you got the flu or if you're sick, they'll ghost you. They're not around to help you out, but if they're sick, they want you to bring them, soup and all this other stuff. But the number one thing that you especially men, this is kind of a men's video, but the number one thing that you men can do that you can't do, the number one thing, men, that you can't do is you can't get attached to these women. Because, like I said, a lot of these narcissistic women are impulsive. A lot of these borderline women are impulsive. And as part of their mental illness, like a narcissist woman, part of her mental illness is devaluement. So they go through periods of devaluement. So if they're a full-blown narcissist woman, she's going to come in and love bomb you. That's going to end up turning into she's going to start devaluing you. If she's a true narcissist, she's going to find fault in you. You've done something wrong. A lot of times this is used to push you away. A lot of the times these women are happy single. So if you start being too lovey-dovey to them, they be like, geez, I'm going to lose my other narcissistic supply. So they start pushing you away. They start fault finding things that are not a big deal. They're going to make a big deal about it. They're going to pick fights. You definitely do not want to get attached to your borderline girlfriend. You definitely do not want to get attached to your narcissistic girlfriend, because devaluement, like I said, is part of both of those mental illnesses. When a borderline girl goes into a hate cycle, when she goes into a devaluement cycle, which is part of her mental illness, now you're a piece of shit. Now she's breaking up with you. Now she don't want to see you. I mean, she can equate you to a piece of dirt on the sidewalk. When you're dealing with a true borderline that's in a devaluement period, you might as well be a piece of dirt on the sidewalk. That's how she's going to treat you. And like I said, she may not even be aware of it because, like I said, both borderline and narcissism, both are mental illnesses. Narcissistic personality disorder is in the DSM as a mental illness. Borderline personality is a mental illness. But what both of those disorders have in common is unhealthy attachment styles. The borderline individual is going to have an unhealthy attachment style. A lot of these borderline individuals were grown up in chaos and domestic violence and child abuse. And so they started to not trust people, not trust the adults in their life. So when it comes to, trust versus mistrust as a child, they got mistrust. So now as an adult, they're going to mistrust everyone. They're going to push people away. They're going to want to be single. Like one of my last borderline girlfriends told me, quote unquote, "You don't get to love me. You don't get to love me." That's what she said to me. We were in a super loving relationship. And then she ended it out of the blue. She was a full-blown borderline. Ended it out of the blue and said to me, quote unquote, "You don't get to love me." The narcissist female, you cannot get attached to her. And the reason being is because most narcissistic women have multiple sources of supply. That means if you think you're the only man in her life right now, wrong. She probably has other men on the back burner, other men in her DMs, other men she's sending messages to when you fall asleep. The narcissistic woman is the one in the back room sending messages to younger men, trying to meet up with younger men for sex. I've dealt with this. I've dated narcissistic women that were trying to hook up with other men while they were dealing with me. That's a narcissist woman. They have no morals, no integrity, no moral compass of right and wrong. They're going to do what's self-serving, what's in their own best interest. You do not want to get attached to a narcissist woman because she has so much narcissistic supply. She will not attach to you. She's not going to solely attach to you and give up the other 9 guys she's fucking. Give up the other 9 guys she's couch surfing. Give up the other 9 guys paying her cell phone bill, giving her extra money, taking her out to eat. Maybe they're giving her oral sex. Maybe they're giving her full sex that she likes. She doesn't want to give up that narc supply. So my recommendation to you is if you're dealing with a narcissist female, she's a narcissist, she checks all the red flags, don't get attached to her. If you know you're dealing with a borderline individual, you want to tread lightly because most of the time, I'm going to probably say 9 out of 10 women that have borderline personality have an unhealthy attachment style, an inability to attach to people in their lives because they came from chaotic upbringings, childhood abuse, things that made attachment impossible for them. They mistrusted adults as children, so now they mistrust adults as adults. So that's the number one thing that you guys don't want to do is get attached to these borderline women, get attached to these narcissistic women because you end up getting your heart ripped out like I went through many times. The borderline women is going to be constantly ghosting you, constantly blocking you. Women that are borderline, they love to block their partners. They love to block their romantic partners. And then a day or two later, a week later, they'll block them. Like, for example, I had a friend block me this morning for something completely stupid, and then I talked to her tonight. So they block you, unblock you, block you, unblock you. It's all part of the drama. Mentally ill women, they love drama. Narcissist women love drama. Borderline women love drama. They're going to pick fights with you out of the blue for no fucking reason other than to ruin the relationship, start a fight, break up with you, pick a fight so then they can break up with you and block you so then they can try to fuck somebody else and you don't find out about it. They're going to block you from Facebook so maybe you don't see the new guy they're dating or the new relationship that they're dating because they don't want to lose out on your narc supply. Maybe you're a friend. They don't want to lose your narc supply. There's so many red flags in narcissism, guys. But the major thing with borderline personality disorder is that love-hate cycle. Look it up. love-hate cycle with a romantic partner is one of the main symptoms of borderline personality. I dealt with this, guys. I mean, I literally had women that would tell me I was a wonderful boyfriend. They'd be crying over my shoulder. And then a week later, they're packing their shit and moving out, and I haven't done a fucking thing wrong. That's what you're going to get from both narcissists and borderline. You're going to be constantly disrespected, constantly devalued, constantly ghosted, constant silent treatments, constant breakups for no reason, constant reunifications, which means they break up and they want to reunify. Like my BPD girl that I used to love would ghost me up for 2 years and then hit me up. Ghost me for another 2 years, hit me up. Ghost me for another 2 years, hit me up. These women have no morals, no integrity, no moral compass. Is this every single borderline person? No. Is this every single borderline woman? No. Is this every single borderline man? No. Is this every single narcissist woman? No. I'm just saying the majority, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 of these people have an unhealthy attachment style, have an inability to attach to you in a healthy way. That's why you, as the boyfriend, you can't get attached to these people. More or less, you need to think about it as temporary fun while it lasts, because these are the women that are going to just wake up out of the blue and find fault in you, find a reason to break up with you. Here you've gotten attached to this woman. Maybe you guys have been having sex for months. And then all of a sudden, if she's BPD and just a devaluement period strikes, which is part of the love-hate cycles of borderline, now she hates you. Now she's breaking up with you. Here you've gotten attached to this woman and she's breaking up with you. She's moving out of your house. This can lead you suicidal. I've been suicidal in the past as a result of borderline women's behavior, narcissistic women's behavior. So it can leave men like me devastated. A lot of suicides have happened because of borderline's bullshit, because of narcissist women's bullshit. If they have the sociopathy with it, the antisocial personality as a co-occurring disorder, it makes it 10 times worse, guys. That means they have no regard for your feelings. They don't care if you're upset. You know, if they're antisocial with the borderline or with the narcissism, which you can have a co-occurring disorder of antisocial personality, then they don't care if they upset you. They don't care if you're sad. They don't care if you're suicidal. Those are your antisocial borderlines and antisocial narcissists. But the number one thing you men out there don't want to do, you young men 18 to 25 don't want to do, is get attached to these women, because they have an inability to healthily attach to you in a healthy way like you are to them. You want to, have them all to yourself, have a girlfriend, have a wife. But a narcissist woman, she's got 20 guys on the back burner. A borderline woman can't have a healthy attachment style to you because maybe every man in her life was beating the shit out of her or sexually abusing her. So now she views every man as a threat. Once that hate cycle triggers in that borderline, now she's fault finding. Now she's devaluing you. A narcissist will devalue you as part of her mental illness. She'll pick fights and find fault in you out of nowhere. It'll literally be out of nowhere. Things will be going great for weeks on end. This goes for borderlines and narcissists. Then out of the blue, they'll pick a fight that will lead to the end of your relationship. So do not get attached to these women. I'm warning you guys straight up. If you like mental health videos, you can like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, Steve-O signing out. Boop.